It's that time of year again. 2022 had no shortage of amazing games that we spent hundreds of hours playing. Whether it was an open-world RPG, a small indie title, or an online competitive brawl, all of us had a ton of games we played this year, and narrowing them down to the top 10 is no easy task. But we did it. Now sit back and enjoy the Shacknews Top 10 Games of 2022. TUNIC is an adorably deceptive package. On the surface, it looks like a furry homage to The Legend of Zelda. While there are swords, shields, and yes, green tunics involved, slashing enemies along the picturesque overworld is only part of the formula that makes the game such an incredible effort. TUNIC is a captivating mystery, one that begins from the moment players hit a new game and they're immediately thrust into a mysterious island without any setup or context. A major part of the experience is putting the story together from scratch, solving the overarching puzzle that is the game's instruction manual, and ultimately saving the island from darkness. On top of everything, survival is far from assured, as enemies attack with a Souls-like toughness that isn't for the faint of heart. A major plus is that if the combat does prove too tough, there is a no-fail option available. All of that wrapped together makes TUNIC far better than anyone could have expected, and there were already high expectations for it going in. There was only one input needed to play Vampire Survivors, and it's the movement stick. Couple this with its simple retro graphics, and by all accounts, it doesn't sound like you'd have a winning formula. I booted up the game, loaded into the first level with zero expectations, and before I knew it, the sun had set and I was pushing a frankly irresponsible bedtime. Vampire Survivors is intensely satisfying, on a level that can only be likened to blasting through waves of shapes in Geometry Wars, narrowly avoiding death. Each upgrade you acquire will add some new effect to your survivor, be it the power of garlic, knives thrown out in the direction you move, a Bible spinning around you, or some wacky power-up. While it may have flown under the radar for some, Vampire Survivors is a must-play this year. If you haven't been able to check it out, luckily it's on Game Pass, so boot up your skills and see how long you can survive.
Behold the horrid visage of the Banshee!
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was a much-needed refresh for the Borderlands franchise. While the classic cel-shaded art style and looter-shooter format are still there, the Dungeons & Dragons-inspired narrative takes players to a new territory. It also influences gameplay, with spells and other fantasy weapons being a highlight. It's also a thoroughly hilarious game that lives up to the Borderlands name. This is mainly thanks to some standout performances from Ashley Birch, Wanda Sykes, and Will Arnett. If you found the Borderlands franchise becoming a bit stale, we highly recommend Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
And the dragon's like, wah, and you're all like, ah!
People are suffering. Soon, they'll starve.
Horizon Forbidden West is a sequel that effectively builds upon its strengths of its predecessors, while also introducing a wealth of new features and quality of life improvements to the mix. Not to mention it boasts some of the best graphics on next-gen consoles. You can spend hours in the game's photo mode alone, capturing both scenery and Aloy herself in impressive detail. Story-wise, Horizon Forbidden West manages to dig deeper into who Aloy is at her core and how the events of the previous game have impacted her, while also exploring her relationships with her friends. The game's map is also impressively expansive and can be explored while riding machines, similar to the previous game, while further opening things up with the introduction of flying machines to ride. Soaring above the game's beautiful world, it's hard not to be in sheer awe of what Guerrilla Games have created.
We're not the only ones who seek them.
Splatoon is one of those series that if you know about it, you're all in. For those who have never ventured into the paint-filled world of Splatoon, This third entry in the series is a great diving in point. I'd never experienced a Splatoon title before, and the moment I got into the first match in Splatoon 3, I was instantly hooked. Splatoon 3 begins to reveal its depths to me. Like the ocean-based critters of its world, I was ready to dive deep into the water and drink in the systems. There is a rich ability crafting system, nuances to various weapons and specials, cosmetics and other customizations, and all of this before you consider the single-player campaign or the salmon run wave-based defense mode. There's a good reason why Splatoon 3 has stolen the spotlight for our weekly big team building streams. One of the most delightful family games on the Nintendo Switch this year, without a doubt, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. The game sees everyone's favorite pink puffball tackle 3D platforming with a wealth of vibrant locations to explore, unique copy abilities to use, and the introduction of mouthful mode. With this, Kirby can inhale objects to turn himself into things like a car, lamp, cone, and much more. In addition to the pure, wholesome joy and offer in the main game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land has a homeworld that you're able to slowly rebuild for your Waddle Dee pals as you rescue them. Here, you can treat yourself to a feast of minigames, weapon upgrades, and cozy naps with Ethelyn in Kirby's house. It's for all these reasons and more that Kirby and the Forgotten Land has earned itself a spot on our list of 2022 favorites.
Believe in heroes.
Wind, aid my hand.
Marvel Snap took the Shack staff by surprise when it officially released to the public back in October. This Marvel card battler offered a unique spin on competitive card games, with its addicting gameplay loop that had us all hooked. The various abilities of each card made for endless layers of strategy, and we found ourselves constantly comparing and sharing decks. The game is also visually impressive, with some stunning card art and animations to marvel at while playing.
Wakanda forever!
Next time, I'll try to break a sweat.
Oh, snap!
Zodiacs be damned, because 2022 was clearly the year of the turtle. TMNT had a big year between a few different games, but the star of the show was absolutely Shredder's Revenge. This game did more than bring back good vibes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade brawlers of yesteryear. It refreshed the formula substantially. Up to 6 players drop in, drop out online, and offline play in of itself makes this game easy to enjoy with friends. But once you're there, the fighting also feels great. Every character feels substantially different and plays excitingly diverse. Moreover, the levels are a vast gallery of delightful TMNT lore and Easter eggs, from the incredibly blatant to the slightly more subtle. It's not a long game to beat, but the fun we can have alone or with friends kept us coming back for more well after we took down Shredder and rolled credits.
Everyone keeps secrets. Sometimes it's the only way to protect the ones we love.
Santa Monica Studio delivered an unforgettable God of War experience back in 2018. The entirely new direction for the IP took Kratos into the world of Norse mythology, gave him a son, and sent him on a journey. In 2022, Kratos and Atreus returned to continue what they had started. To say the team at Santa Monica Studios had a big task on their hands would be an understatement. Despite the challenge before them, what was finally delivered was a tale of mythological proportions, boasting brutal and visceral combat with a genuine father and son story at its heart. It managed to hit all the right notes. It surprised and delighted and left many players in tears. It was a perfect conclusion to the saga and deserving of all the praise it received.
You'll get your answer soon enough. Well, some of them. Make of thyselves that which ye desire. Be
Elden
it
Ring's successes are about as rich and diverse as its expansive world. The game dominated the online discourse for months after its release, ushering in a new wave of players that have never before dabbled in a Souls-born game. It won multiple Shacknews awards, built upon the juggernaut that is Breath of the Wild, and revolutionized the open-world genre, and even managed to surprise the veterans who thought they'd seen it all. The game stands tall among the pantheon of incredible releases in 2022, but the choice was clear. Elden Ring is the Shacknews Game of the Year 2022. Hey folks, if you enjoyed this top 10, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, notification button. It's 3 small clicks for you, but means the world to us. For more top 10s and everything else gaming related, are we in the right place? You're on Shacknews.com.
we shall see each other once more.
Now, go forth.